Hey YouTube, 3D Printed Life here, and today is decision day, the E3D Lite6 versus the E3D V6. Let's get into it. So, at the top level, the E3D Lite6 and V6 are very similar hot ends. They both have very similar geometries. The main one difference being is that the E3D Lite6 has a bit of a different heatsink. It has an integrated heater break into the heatsink, and it's got that PTFE liner going all the way to the nozzle, whereas the E3D V6 has the PTFE stopping at the heat break. But what that means is that your print performance should be fairly similar. The E3D Lite6 will have less time to melt, so you won't be able to print quite as fast, and you won't be able to print quite as hot because that liner goes all the way to the hot zone. However, other than that, you should be seeing pretty similar print quality, and more or less I am. So let's get into it. First of all, with the Aztec Chief. So this is a pretty favorite print of mine because it is, while it's simple looking, it is actually quite a difficult print. There's a few pretty sharp overhangs. These details are really easy to get muddled up. It's pretty difficult to come out as nice as this. And now this is with the E3D Lite6. As you can see, overhangs are good, no problems there. A little bit of overhanging issue there. There's always overhang problems on the shield, so that's expected. A little bit of sagging there. But other than that, overhangs are fine. Details are very good. Checking the back of its hand. That's a good spot to check, as you can see. Very good details. Layers are all aligned nicely, as I would expect. I wouldn't expect the hot end to change that. And the surface finish is smooth, which means that the nozzle's not worn and nothing weird like that's going on. So yeah, it looks pretty good. Now compared to the E3D V6, it is more or less identical. I would be hard pressed to find the difference between the two. So again, Lite6 is on the left, V6 is on the right, and I mean, just about as identical as you could possibly get. Now this was done with PLA. Keep in mind that, again, one of the main limitations of the E3D Lite6 is that you can only really print PLA and ABS-based polymers. Anything crazier than that, like nylons, you can't do. You have to print them too hot, and that just will not work. But yeah, so that's that. Now let's check out this benchmark. This is like the benchmark V3 from Thingiverse. I'll put links to these down in the description. But basically the main takeaway from this is to see how much stringing the Lite6 had compared to the V6. So this is the Lite6 and this is the V6. Now the V6 only strung here at the top because this pillar comes to a very fine peak, which means it comes to a point where it just doesn't have enough to stick onto anymore, and it ended up dragging it around here. That's where that stringing is from. This stringing is just from the hot end oozing down lower, as you can see. So there's a bunch of those little hairs down there, and then you get the same thicker oozing up top, like on the E3D V6. So it does appear that the E3D Lite6 does ooze a little bit more. However, it is also possible that because the E3D Lite6 now comes with the silicone sock to cover the heater block, that might be retaining more heat, which means it's printing hotter, which means it's more likely to string. So that is another possibility. The main takeaway from this is that other than that slight stringing, the two perform nearly identically with PLA. Again, okay, bridging, perfect, both look good. Vertical wall test, both look good. The dome, both look good. Lettering, both look good. Holes, both look good, look the same. You get the point. The only difference is being again on this guy. So yeah, other than that minute detail, which again may just be because of that silicone sock retaining more heat, they perform 100% identically. So what does this mean for the E3D Lite6? Well, before I even get into my review, I would definitely recommend this hot end for anybody who isn't into those crazy exotic materials. If you're just planning to print PLA ABS, go with the E3D Lite6. There's no reason to spend the extra bucks on the E3D V6. Unless you plan on printing super fast, of course. However, these guys were printed at a reasonable speed. I believe the perimeters were around 60 millimeters a second, infill around 80 or 90, and it had no issues with that on both the E3D V6 and Lite6. So, unless you're planning on printing over 100 millimeters a second, or those exotics that have super high melting temps, I see zero reason why you wouldn't want to go with the E3D Lite6. So that just about wraps up my comparison of the print quality. Let me know what you guys thought of this video. I personally was pretty surprised that the Lite6 performed as well as it did, although I guess not really, because it is from the guys at E3D and they do know what they're doing. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the review. I've got a feeling the review is going to be a pretty positive one, but just keep a lookout for that. I will be posting the review and the assembly guide within the next few days after this video goes up. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you later.